Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be smoking out of a teeny tiny, itty bitty corn cob pipe. And to showcase just how small this pipe actually is, I have a normal sized lighter with me today. When compared to the size of this lighter right here, this pipe is a lot smaller than not. And when held right next to each other, this pipe is a lot smaller than not. One might even say that this pipe is comically small. And because this pipe is a little bit more comically small than not, I think it's going to be a little bit more funny than not to smoke out of. And so as such, I certainly am looking forward to smoking out of this pipe today, just because, simply put, I think it's going to be a funny thing to do. But that's not all there is to it, I will acknowledge. I am also genuinely curious to find out just how well or just how bad this pipe is actually going to smoke. As if it does smoke better than not, I'm thinking it might actually be really good for doing quick taste tests of pipe tobacco. As a whole, I am looking forward to making this video today, and I'm looking forward to smoking out of this teeny tiny itty bitty corncob pipe right here. But what exactly is the teeny tiny itty bitty corncob pipe that I'm holding in my hand right now? Well, it is a Missouri Meerschaum Mini pipe. Of course, the bowl is made of corncob. It's got a hardwood stem, and then it's got a plastic amber bit. This pipe is unfiltered, and it is a lot smaller than not, as we can tell. The chamber itself is much smaller than not, and it is not very deep either. That's how deep the chamber is. It is pretty dang, what's the right way of putting this? It is pretty dang shallow, I think is really the right way of putting it. Missouri Meerschaum is known for making the highest quality, the best smoking corncob pipes in the entire world. And so as such, honestly, I am expecting this pipe to smoke a little bit better than not. But I don't know anything for sure, which is part of the reason why I'm making this video today. Before I go ahead and fully go over the look of this pipe, the quality of this pipe, and just how this pipe looks in mouth, and just how this pipe is in general, and before I go ahead and actually get to smoking out of this pipe right here, I first off want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to Fred Scott for having been kind enough to contribute this pipe to the channel for me to make a video about and everything like that. Thank you so much once again to Fred Scott. I really do appreciate you being nice enough to give me this pipe right here. I am looking forward to smoking out of it, to say the least. Thank you so much once again to Fred Scott. Huge shout out, my man. Thank you so much once again to Fred Scott. But without further ado, now let's go ahead and go over the general look of the pipe, starting off with the size of the pipe. As showcased at the very beginning of this video, this pipe is a lot smaller than not when compared to a normal sized lighter. Although, this is not actually a normal sized lighter. This is my mega jumbo crack lighter, I will acknowledge. When compared to an actual normal sized Bic lighter, this pipe is, well, about the same size as the lighter. It's not super tiny when compared to the lighter by any means, but it is still a lot smaller than not when compared to other pipes. I completely forgot to bring other pipes with me today to compare the size of this pipe with the other pipes, but that is okay. I think y'all have a good idea of how small this pipe actually is, to say the least. As when compared to a lighter, it is, well, still a little bit smaller than not, frankly put. We can see the corncob bowl itself has a very nice sort of yellow sheen to it. I definitely have to say, of course, corncobs have a little bit more of a yellow sheen to them than not normally, but this one does appear to have some sort of a lacquer or coating on it. It's not a raw corncob bowl by any means, and the inside we can see is a little bit more white than not, so that does not have the lacquer on it or whatever was put on the bowl of this pipe, I definitely have to say. As a whole, the bowl looks pretty dang nice. There are some imperfections in the bowl, but that's just normal. That's just normal corncob pipe stuff after all. Taking a look at the stem, we can see it's just a normal sort of smooth hardwood stem, I definitely have to say. And then we can see there's a little bit of a black sort of bit right there, and then that black sort of bit right there, that black sort of ring going around the hardwood stem, then leads into this plastic amber bit right there, and this is the mouthpiece. Taking a look at the bottom of the pipe, we can see there is indeed a Missouri Meerschaum sticker on the bottom of this pipe, just proving that this is indeed a Missouri Meerschaum made pipe. We can see the sticker itself has some sort of, like, I'd have to say, beige and wine colors to it for the background, and then the colors of the text itself are in both beige and wine, sort of red once again. We can see it just says Missouri Meerschaum right there, and then in the middle it just says original corn cob, and then under that it just says made in USA, and then it just says under that Washington, Missouri. So, you know, these pipes are made in the USA, and they are specifically made in Washington, Missouri, which is really dang cool, if I do say so myself. I love supporting American manufacturers, and I'm glad they are making some more funny novelty pipes than not that hopefully smoke a little bit better than not as well. I think I previously said this, but Missouri Meerschaum has a pretty good reputation for making the best smoking corncob pipes in the world, and so hopefully this novelty-sized corncob pipe will smoke pretty well as well. I think that's pretty much all I had to say about the general look of this pipe. The overall quality of it is pretty good, just knocking on the bottom and everything like that kind of thing. It doesn't seem like the bowl is going to come off or anything like that kind of thing. It's all glued together quite well, if I do say so myself. Now, unlike some of the other Missouri Meerschaum made corncob pipes, which have hardwood bottoms in them to make sure you don't burn out the pipe super quickly and everything like that, this pipe does not have that. It is very small. I have heard that people burn these pipes out a little bit quicker than not. It's really small. It's really no big surprise in all honesty, but you know, this pipe does not have a hardwood bottom by any means, and so the bottom of this pipe is just, well, the bottom of the corn cob, I do suppose, or something like that. You know, as a whole, pretty decent quality pipe, pretty decent looking pipe, but how does it actually look when you put it in your mouth? Well, let's see. Just had to stare into y'all's soul just for a moment there. I'd have to say, it looks absolutely hilarious. I'd have to say, it looks comically small. I love it, y'all. Oh man, it's so dang funny. It is so dang funny. Honestly, I love how short it is. I love how small the bowl is. I think it's just so dang funny, frankly put. It really is a little bit more comically small than not. Does the stem actually come off? It does indeed come off. And you know, this pipe, as previously said, is an unfiltered pipe. I'm gonna go and put that stem back on just real quick, just like that. Go and make sure it's all aligned. Perfect. And I do suppose, now that I've covered the look of the pipe, now that I've covered the quality of the pipe, now that I've covered how it looks in mouth and everything like that kind of thing, I think it looks fantastic in mouth, frankly, but I think it looks hilarious. I think it looks comically small. I think it looks great in all honesty. And honestly, I'd love it if they made a version of this pipe with like a really long stem, like a stem going out to like here or something like that kind of thing. And then so it's just like, you've got the tiniest pipe in the world, but you're holding it all the way out like that. I think that would be absolutely hilarious. But honestly, with it just being this short, I think it's still hilarious kind of thing. I think it's still absolutely hilarious, and it is very, very, very easy to clench as well, because this pipe is like super light. It is insanely easy to clench, much easier to clench than some of the other pipes I own, to say the least. Well, I do suppose, now without further ado, now that I've gone ahead and covered everything I think I wanted to say about the pipe itself, besides how it smokes, I think it's now time for me to go ahead and, well, find out how well this pipe actually smokes. And to do that, I suppose I need to actually smoke some pipe tobacco now, don't I? And today I have some Five Brothers Shag Cut Pipe Tobacco with me. I was thinking I should probably use something that has a more fine cut than not, as the bowl of this pipe is a lot smaller than not. And I was also thinking that I'm probably gonna want something with a little bit more strength than not, as this bowl is a little bit smaller than not. So if I smoke something a little bit lighter, it's probably not gonna give me much of a buzz. Five Brothers is indeed a shag cut pipe tobacco, and it is a lot stronger than not, hence why I've chosen it for this video. Now, I will acknowledge I completely forgot to bring my normal pipe kit with me today. I forgot to bring my pipe tool and everything like that kind of thing. So I'm gonna be just going at it kind of thing. I'm just gonna be using my finger to tamp everything down. Maybe not mid-smoke. Hopefully I don't need to tamp anything down mid-smoke, frankly put. But I'm gonna be using my finger to tamp everything down before I get to smoking. Let me just put it that way. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get my jar of Five Brothers pipe tobacco all opened up, just like that. Let's go ahead and get the mason jar lid all off. This has been closed up for a minute, so it was a little bit more tough to get off than not. Let's go and just smell this real quick. Smells fantastic, getting a very nice sort of coca, hazelnutty sort of scent from the tobacco. Five Brothers, I really enjoy it. It's very strong, it's very rough. It is insanely good though, I absolutely love it. It's a straight burley shag cut blend that's been around for a very long time, and it has been around for a very long time for a very good reason, because it is some damn scrumptious stuff. Let me tell you, I really enjoy Five Brothers, although it's not something that I would recommend smoking on an empty stomach, because it is very, very, very dang strong. I've got myself a little bit of a pinch of pipe tobacco though, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put that pinch in the pipe, just like that. And I think I'm gonna put just a little bit more in there, just like that. Now, I will admit, this is, this pipe is actually not, this pipe does not actually have the smallest bowl I've ever smoked out of when it comes to pipes. I have smoked out of a pipe with a smaller bowl. Japanese Kisaroo pipes have super small bowls because the tobacco you smoke out of Japanese Kisaroo pipes is insanely strong, and you really don't need a lot of it to get a buzz, frankly put. This does have a bigger bowl than a Japanese Kisaroo pipe, but I think it's just about as close as you can get to the size of a Japanese Kisaroo pipe when it comes to the bowl, at least, for American-made pipes and whatnot. But I think I've got this bowl all filled up. Just gonna go ahead and just kind of tamp that down just a little bit. Hopefully that is all good to smoke. I am a little bit afraid, since this is an unfiltered pipe, that I'm gonna get some pull through, especially since the Five Brothers pipe tobacco really likes to turn into like super sort of powdery ash and everything like that kind of thing. I'm afraid I'm gonna get some Scooby snacks. Hopefully they're not hot when they pull through, if I do get any, but there's only one way to find out if I'm gonna get any Scooby snacks, so there's only one way to find out how this tobacco is gonna be when it's smoked out of this pipe, and there's only one way to find out just how good or just how bad this pipe is actually going to smoke, and well, that's to smoke out of it. And now that I have some tobacco in this pipe, I do suppose now it's time for me to go ahead and use my normal size lighter to go ahead and get this pipe all lit up, and I think it's now time for me to go ahead and smoke out of my itty bitty teeny tiny corncob pipe for the first time. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this much smaller pipe than not all lit up. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying. Now, of course, I'm not inhaling or anything like that, and honestly, if I tried inhaling Five Brothers pipe tobacco, I'd probably be coughing my lungs out. It is very rough stuff. But so far, this pipe is smoking fantastically. It is smoking great so far. It has gone out. That is what it is. I'm just gonna use my finger, just kind of tamp everything down just a little bit. Go ahead and get this relit. I think this time with my other normal lighter. Like, I've got one normal lighter with me today, and I've got my other normal lighter. I think I'm gonna use this lighter now. And I'm just gonna smoke for a minute or two and just find out how this pipe smokes and everything like that. I'll admit though, it's smoking great. It really is smoking fantastically, in all honesty. It's really easy to clench, super easy to clench. I like that. Ooh, the Five Brothers though is hitting. It is hitting. And just due to the size of this pipe, due to how short it is, the smoke coming through is a little bit rougher. It's definitely a little bit hotter than not. A lot of the pipes I have much longer stems than this pipe, so I can definitely tell that there's a difference. The smoke is a little bit hotter just because it has less room to cool down, and along with the fact that I'm used to smoking with a filter, generally speaking, I smoke filtered pipes, so that definitely helps cool down the smoke as well. But even with the shorter stem, even with no filter, this pipe, it's still not unbearable to smoke out of by any means. It's not too small to smoke out of. It's smoking very well. Like the smoke is a little bit hotter. The smoke is a little bit rougher. Nothing to any insane degree though. And I am starting to feel a little bit of a buzz. I can definitely tell I'm getting some nicotine in my system. I'm feeling really good right now. Yeah, I think I can say 100% for sure that the Missouri Meerschaum Mini, the teeny tiny itty bitty corncob pipe that I'm smoking out of in today's video is a pretty dang good smoker. I don't know how long it's actually gonna last before it burns out, but it's a pretty dang good smoker. It does like to go out though. I was talking for a minute there, and pipes with smaller chambers, I've heard, like to go out a little bit faster than pipes with larger chambers, and I can indeed confirm that for this pipe. If that little bit of a, I'd have to say, urban legend is true or not. I don't know if it's actually true, but this pipe definitely goes out a little bit faster than that. It's got a smaller chamber than that, so it's really no big surprise though, in all honesty. It makes sense for smaller chambered pipes to go out a little bit faster. Let's go and get this relit once again. And just with the size of this pipe, I definitely don't have to pull as hard. Like, since I'm used to pipes that are a little bit longer, and since I'm used to, well, filtered pipes as well, I'm used to having to pull a little bit harder, almost as hard as something like, let's say, a cigarette to some extent. This pipe, it's really so easy to just puff away kind of thing. You barely even have to pull in. It's just, like, not even that, in all honesty. It's just, you barely have to draw in. And it has gone out once again. I do think we are probably almost done. So I might go ahead, and after this pipe goes out, I might go ahead and just go empty it out. I'm pretty sure it's done. I'm not exactly sure if this pipe is done or not, but if I waste a little bit of tobacco, it is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and just blow all the tobacco out of the pipe. Just make sure it's all out before I go ahead and get any more in there. And it does appear that it's actually not all out. There's actually a decent amount more in there. So let's go ahead and continue smoking. It was just get more jumbled up. It was just that there was a bunch of very, I'd have to say, what's the right way of putting this? There was just a bunch of sort of very powdery ash on top, making me think that it was all done. But I did put a decent amount of tobacco in there, so it's not done quite yet. And I think I didn't really pack the pipe very well, in all honesty. I would like to blame the fact that the tobacco keeps going out on the pipe, but I don't think it's the pipe. I think it was me not packing it very well. If I had packed it a little bit lighter, I think it would be staying lit a little bit better as well. But also, I'm talking. I think if I wasn't talking, it would also stay lit a lot better than it would if I was talking. That's one of my things with pipes. I love smoking pipes. I can keep them lit very well when I'm not talking, but when I am talking, I am horrible at keeping pipes lit, frankly put. But let's go ahead and get this all lit up once again, and let's go ahead and continue smoking out of my teeny tiny itty bitty corncob pipe, y'all. And I think I'm gonna go and try to grab myself a little bit of a screenshot. Had to do the YouTuber face, you know what I'm saying? Had to do it to him. Let's go and try to grab myself another little bit of a screenshot. Oh, that was a little bit rough, though. Excuse me, just had to burp real quick. Trying to figure out how to grab a good screenshot that's gonna, like, emphasize just how small this pipe really is. I'm gonna hurry up. Oh, it's gone. Alrighty. Well, I'm not sure if any of those will really do for a screenshot. I'm not really exactly sure how to grab a screenshot for this video, in all honesty. But hopefully one of those will do. Hopefully one of those will do. We will find out. But let's go and keep smoking if it's still lit. Oh, and it's starting to rain now. It is starting to rain. Wow. Said it was supposed to rain, and it is starting to rain. Wow. Weatherman didn't lie today. Just gonna get this relit once again, y'all. I think first off, actually, I'm gonna go and just tape it down just a little bit. Just use my finger, you know what I'm saying? Kid named Finger. Be like, just use my finger to tamp down the pipe. Kid named Finger be like, whoa, you're using me to tamp down the pipe? Oh, no. It wasn't as funny as I thought it was. I gotta admit though, genuinely, this pipe actually does smoke really well. Like, in all seriousness, it really does. Like, this itty bitty teeny tiny corncob pipe genuinely does smoke really well. It's small, it goes out quickly, just due to the small bowl, but it smokes really well, and I definitely do think it's really good for just quickly taste testing different tobaccos. And it's definitely especially good. I haven't, of course, tried this with a flake cut or a ribbon cut. I think this is best with a shag cut. If I had to guess, a ribbon cut would smoke okay out of this bowl. I don't think a flake cut would smoke very well out of this bowl at all. I think it's just too small. But I do think this is very, very, very good for shag cut pipe tobacco, or even if you wanted to smoke rolling tobacco out of this pipe, I think it would be really good for smoking shag cut rolling tobacco, frankly put. And honestly, the reason why this pipe keeps going out is not the pipe's fault. It's my own fault for having packed it too tight. I packed it way too tight. I put way too much tobacco in it. That's why it keeps going out. But I'm starting to feel a little bit of a buzz. The Five Brothers pipe tobacco, even though I'm not smoking a lot of it, even though I'm smoking it out of a teeny tiny itty bitty corncob pipe, it's still getting me buzzed. Oh man, I love the Five Brothers pipe tobacco. It is some good stuff. Is this pipe funny to smoke out of? I do think it is. I do think it is. Is this pipe genuinely good to smoke out of? Yeah, it is. This pipe is not only hilarious to smoke out of because it is comically small, in my personal opinion, but it's also a genuinely good smoker as well. And I think these are like $5. I want to say for $5, this is not bad at all. It's $5. You just get the novelty kind of thing. Even if it burns out after a couple smokes, who cares? It's $5. It has gone out once again, though. I still have not gotten quite used to smoking Five Brothers pipe tobacco. And since it's been so rainy over the last week or so, I've barely been smoking any pipe at all, in all honesty. So that certainly doesn't help either. Definitely, though, with how short the pipe is, I'm definitely getting a little bit more tongue bite than I'm used to, especially with the fact that this pipe is not filtered. The smoke is just a little bit hotter, it's a little bit rougher, a little bit more tongue bitey, but it's really not a big deal. It's to be expected for how small this pipe is, in all honesty. Other than all of that, though, this pipe smokes exactly like a normal corncob pipe, and it smokes just as well as all the other Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes I've tried in the past, frankly put. It smokes really dang well. So, you know, this pipe, if you're just looking at getting some like small novelty pipe that you can actually smoke out of, you know, I think this is a pretty decent buy. I think it's a pretty decent buy, especially for like, I think it was like $5 last time I checked. And because I packed the Five Brothers in there so tight, I'm actually getting a pretty dang long smoke sesh. Like, I've been smoking for like 15 minutes right now. Granted, I've been talking to, I haven't been puffing, but still, 15 minutes out of this pipe. That might be a new world record. I heard that this pipe is only like an 8-minute smoke most of the time, but no, I'm at 15 minutes. I highly doubt it's a new world record. But I think that might be all there was to the pipe. I don't have like a stick or a stem near me or anything like that kind of thing. Sadly, do I have anything I can use? Oh, and one other thing I really like about this pipe, when you're just holding it, the stem doesn't fall down. It just stays flat, just like that kind of thing, because the bowl is heavier than the rest of it, so it just stays flat, so you don't have to worry about it falling over, which is super nice. I love that. I don't have any sort of stem near me or anything like that kind of thing to really like kind of swirl everything around. Do I have anything at all in my backpack? I'm trying to think. I don't think I do. I think I'm out of luck when it comes to that. Do I have anything in my pocket? I have a flashlight, but that's not really going to work now, is it? Well, I could take the thing off my flashlight. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I could use that. Feeling like, what's his name? Les Strauss right now, having to use what's on hand. I can, if I can take this off, I can use that. How do I take this off? I don't know if I can. Oh, man. Okay, you know what? I give up. I'm too weak to take off the little clip off of my flashlight. I'm too weak. I don't really have anything else. I could use one of my keys. I can't show my keys on video because I don't want somebody copying them, but I have a key or two I don't care about, so I'm just gonna swish it around with the key. And yeah, that was pretty much all there was to what was in the pipe and everything like that kind of thing. So that was pretty much all there was to the smoke. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get all this stuff out. I'm gonna throw it over the railing of where I'm sitting. Not gonna try to dirty up where I'm sitting right now by any means. Although if I was smoking a cigarette, I'll acknowledge that I would be ashing all over the porch where I'm sitting and everything like that kind of thing. But there was a little bit left, not too much though. I'm gonna clean that out the rest of the way later. It's okay for the moment though. But I think I've pretty much figured out what I wanted to figure out about this pipe. I think I've figured out whether it smokes good or bad, and I think I've figured out whether it's actually funny to smoke out of or not. So I do think now, without further ado, it's time for me to go ahead and give you guys my final thoughts on how smoking out of a teeny tiny itty bitty corncob pipe actually is. So how is smoking out of a teeny tiny itty bitty corncob pipe? I'll be frank, it's hilarious, and it's actually genuinely good. Genuinely good, 100%. Now I can't comment on how long the itty bitty corncob pipe that I'm gonna be smoking out of, that I smoked out of in today's video. I can't comment on how long it's gonna last and everything like that. It does not have a hardwood bottom or anything like that kind of thing, so I assume it's gonna burn out a little bit faster than like, let's say, some other Missouri Meerschaum pipes out there. But I do have faith that it'll last for like at least 5 smokes, especially if I am careful not to like burn the bottom and everything like that kind of thing, and to start to singe the bottom and to weaken it just a little bit more so than not. So as long as I'm careful about that, I have faith it'll last for a little bit longer than not. But I can't comment on really that too much though, but I can comment on the fact that this pipe, frankly put, smoked really well. Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes, I own a bunch of them. They all smoke fantastically. this pipe smokes fantastically as well. It really does smoke great. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it's a little bit rougher than I'm used to just because it's shorter. The smoke's a little bit hotter than I'm used to just because it's a little bit shorter than not. And I'd have to say it's a little bit more tongue bitey than I'm used to just because it's a little bit shorter than not. But those are just normal aspects you would expect from any pipe with a really short stem, not with a normal size stem. This is definitely shorter than normal, I'd have to say. Those are aspects that you would expect from any pipe with a really short stem, frankly put. And of course, this pipe, it doesn't last very long either. The bowl is very small, but it smokes great. It really does smoke great. And honestly, I think it's really, really, really good for just quickly taste testing different tobaccos. I didn't really pay attention to the taste of the Five Brothers too much today, I'll acknowledge. But if I was really trying to pay attention to the taste and I wasn't talking too much, I do think that just that quick smoke would have given me a really good idea of what the taste of Five Brothers is like, more so than not. Just because, well, you are actually smoking out of a real pipe. This is not just a novelty pipe that is just supposed to look funny. It's a real pipe that you can actually smoke out of, and it smokes well. And so as such, I do think that this pipe is really good for doing quick little taste testing smoke sessions, frankly put. If you just want to, if you're blending tobacco or something like that kind of thing, or if you just want to try a new tobacco but you don't have too much time, I think this pipe is gonna be perfect for you. I think it's gonna be really good for just taste testing the tobacco really quickly. And honestly, if you want to, I think that this pipe could be really good for, I've seen one or two pipes. I think there's a pipe by Savinelli that was literally made to have cigarette tobacco smoked out of it, like shag cut, roll your own tobacco smoked out of it. It comes with you're supposed to use like 6mm cigarette filters and everything kind of thing. And so it's basically supposed to be a cigarette replacement. You're supposed to inhale off of it. If you wanted to do that with this pipe, you 100% could. You could 100% literally use this as a rollie replacement. Now, I don't know how long this pipe would actually last for that. It might only last like 5 smokes or something like that kind of thing. I have no idea. It certainly wouldn't be cost effective to use this if it only lasts 5 smokes, but if it lasts like a couple packs kind of thing, yeah, it could be worth using and everything like that kind of thing. Who knows? But I do think that this could be, as long as it lasts for a little bit longer than not, it could be a decent sort of rollie replacement. You could just inhale the cigarette tobacco right off of the pipe and everything like that kind of thing. It's a pretty good size for that. Maybe a little bit, maybe you could fit a little bit more tobacco in it than you could fit in a cigarette, but I think it's a good replacement for a rollie. If you didn't want to roll or something like that kind of thing, you just want to put it in a pipe instead, I think you could definitely do that with the Missouri Meerschaum Mini. As a whole, smokes really well. Smokes a little bit differently than I'm used to just due to the small size, but smokes really well nonetheless. I think you could use it as a rollie replacement if you absolutely wanted to. And if I had to guess, at least, as long as you're careful, it's probably going to last a little bit longer than not. But if you're not careful, it's probably going to burn out pretty quickly. As a whole, this is not just a novelty pipe that looks funny to smoke, but doesn't actually smoke very well. This is a novelty pipe that looks pretty funny to smoke and does smoke well. That's right, this pipe smokes fantastically, frankly put, and I really do like it. And it looks a lot more funny than not as well. This is a comically small pipe, a teeny tiny itty bitty corncob pipe that does indeed smoke pretty dang good. Well, I think that's pretty much all I had to say. The pipe was a lot funnier than not to smoke out of. It smoked really well. I had a great time smoking. I got a little bit of a buzz. I certainly cannot complain. I have had a great time today smoking out of the itty bitty teeny tiny corncob pipe that Mr. Fred Scott himself was kind enough to contribute to the channel. Thank you so much once again to Fred Scott for having been nice enough to give me this pipe right here to make a video on. I really do appreciate it. Very glad to have tried a Missouri Meerschaum for the first time, a Missouri Meerschaum Mini for the first time today. This is not my first time ever trying a Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipe. Very glad to have tried a Missouri Meerschaum Mini for the first time today, and if I end up liking this one a lot in the future, even if it does burn out eventually, I certainly will be tempted to buy another one of these in all honesty. Well, I think that's pretty much all I had to say for this video, more so than not. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have ever smoked out of a Missouri Meerschaum Mini, out of a comically small corncob pipe before. How was y'all's experience? Was it any different than what I experienced? Did y'all find the pipe to smoke pretty well, or did it smoke badly? I'm curious to find out. Let me know what y'all's experience was like in the comments down below. And even if you guys have not tried a comically small, teeny tiny itty bitty corncob pipe before, let me know what you guys think of smoking out of one based off of what you saw in this video. certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video where I smoked out of a teeny tiny itty bitty corncob pipe. If you guys have enjoyed watching this video, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. box, and my second channel all in the description down below. Go check it all out. But thank you so much for watching, y'all. Till the next one, stay safe in peace and have a great one. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying?